Hi, it's Andy Phillips here, and I just want to do this little short video for you, really to help you with the support, the back end, the mindset. Once you've actually gone through one of the training programs, or if you're learning anything about online marketing or business marketing, because something happens when people finish a program. We just finished our 8-week online coaching program for lead generation, and although during the program people are very, very enthusiastic, what they do is they give us a lot of feedback, they tell us what they're doing, they share a lot of things with us. What tends to happen after the event is that life gets in the way. You know, stuff happens, kids, cats, dogs, all that sort of thing. And what I really wanted to do in this video was to help you understand what you can do to keep that momentum going, because it's really vitally important that you do. So let's look at some of the tips that we can do. In fact, I'm going to give you six top tips. Okay, let's start with top tip number 1. And the first one's a very simple one, but a very important one. And that is to go through the whole process of all the webinars once more. And the reason why I say that is because this time you know what the outcome is. So you may have gone in and listened to all the webinars when they were live. You might have looked at some of the replays of the video replays of the webinars we put into the membership site. But now you understand the whole process, or now you've gone through the whole process. Going through those webinars once again, those modules again, will give you a fantastic appreciation of where that actually sits and how you can use it to your advantage in business. So go through the modules again, because you know that you're going to pair away a product, you know that you're going to do some customer profiling. You also know that you're going to do some keyword and market research. You know that you're going to put that into an abundance marketing model. So you know you're going to be able to create some blogs and websites, some landing pages, squeeze pages, microsites. You know how to drive traffic to those separated or isolated product sites. We know that we're going to start creating conversion environments and then put that into a follow-up sequence. Knowing all those things, when you start from scratch again and go through those modules bit by bit by bit, it helps you actually focus where you're putting those different parts and how it's all going to become one whole product, one whole idea or concept which you can then implement in your business. So it's a great idea to go through them again. So that's top tip number 1. Top tip number 2 actually relates to the way you take in information. Now, what I spoke about in top tip number 1 was to go through the webinars or the modules again, so you know where you are and you know how you can framework that within the whole abundance marketing model. What I'm going to say now is that when you go through the webinars, go through them one by one, but create them as an event. So instead of looking at the webinar and then going away and doing something, you know, maybe doing the tea and then watching a little bit more and then going to the washing up, doing a little bit more, going picking the kids up, that sort of thing. Do it as an event. You know, spend an evening looking at that one webinar, make notes and understand how it works for you, your business, how you're going to use it in your products and your services. So apply the information in one evening, understand it in one evening. So use it as an event, don't go backwards and forwards, don't try and do other things, and you know, things get in the way. And what I'm really trying to say here is, you know, make sure you focus on each of those webinars, each of those modules, because it's the best way of doing it. If you do that, if you focus actually on the module in an evening or during the day when you want to do it in one session, it means that you're really you're truly understanding exactly what that module is about and how to apply it in your business. So top tip number 2 is to treat it as an event. When you're learning from another module, just do one module a night, or one webinar a night, one webinar replay a night, but do it as one encapsulated knowledge product. It helps tremendously, and you can also put it into perspective within the abundance marketing model. So that's top tip number 2, is treat it as an event. Top tip number 3 is create a campaign. Take all these bits of information you've learned over the weeks and start putting them together and start designing a campaign. Now, my advice is to do a small one to begin with. So, for instance, you could create a campaign which is just looking at, say, an ethical bribe. So maybe create a PDF, put that into an ethical bribe, put that onto your website, create an opt-in form through Aweber, and a small sequence of emails out the back of it, just a small sequence. So create a very, very small campaign, something which you can implement, something which you can do, but design how that is going to be put together. So design what you're going to use as a PDF, what you're going to use as an ethical bribe, and how you're going to deliver it. Do that, create the campaign, because if you can create that, it means you can create bigger campaigns. And a bigger campaign normally means just using a few smaller campaigns in a bigger campaign. So if you can do a small campaign, you can do a big campaign, but you've got to do a small campaign first. So that's my tip: create a campaign. Top tip number 4, and this may seem like an obvious step, but that is to implement that campaign. So now you've designed it, you put it together, you've understand how the whole abundance marketing model works, all the different steps of it, you've created a campaign on paper, and now you have to implement that campaign. So that could mean creating some videos, creating a PDF, putting Aweber up and running, making sure that it all works, going through the whole process from a customer's perspective and getting it out there, starting to do it, making sure it works, letting people know it's there, getting people to try it out, that sort of thing. So basically this tip is implement the campaign you designed. Top tip number 5 is don't be afraid of the technology. And what you're going to do is you're going to be putting together these campaigns. You're going to be using technology to do that. Aweber is technology, creating PDF documents, creating videos. It's all to do with technology. Embrace it. You know, sometimes it does seem a little daunting. There's a lot of technology to understand. There's a lot of technology to use, but if you don't start putting it together and don't start actually creating these things and using this technology, it will always be something distant, something that someone else does. So create product like videos and PDFs, get Aweber up and running, start creating these campaigns, but don't be afraid of using their technology. Even if you're not going to be that great at it to start with, the best thing is to start using it, because you can only get better through practice. So don't be afraid of the technology, that's my tip. The last tip, top tip number 6, is really about follow-up, and this is really the whole key to what you've been trying to do for this last 8-9 weeks in the abundance marketing model, dwelling in that, understanding customer profiling, understanding getting products out. It's all been leading up to getting leads coming in, which you can then go and follow up. And following up might mean making telephone calls, might mean making site visits, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but follow up those customers. and make sure that you're creating business out of your lead generation, because that's what makes it successful. Lead generation success is about making sure that you follow up and get business from those leads that you've created. So make sure you follow up, and make sure you follow up properly. Make phone calls, go and do site visits, go and see people, network with people, talk to people, start doing the social media side and start connecting via social media, and just follow up all the time. Keep on getting out to people and start talking about your business. Lead generation can only do so much. Creating the business on the back end of that is about connection. So go and connect with people. So that's top tip number 6. I hope that's put a lot of things in perspective and maybe giving you some motivation to really get going on this. So let's go. Let's make sure we actually get some great deals out of this. Make sure that lead generation was put into practice properly. So go through the whole section, go through these top tips, and keep in touch with us. Let us know how you get on.